miles of journey start with a single step. I would also like to start my topic with beautiful greeting for the day. I am Ved Prakash Tiwari, Assistant Professor, School of Pharmacy, Bhaubanarthi Das University, Lucknow. I'm here to represent my views about very fascinating topic that is new drug discovery. I'd like to start my topic with the introductory part. Here are some definitions like drug discovery phase, development phase. First of all, I would like to discuss about the drug. The drug is any substance that cause a change in the organism physiology when consumed. Drugs are typically designed from food and substances that provide nutritional support, and consumption of drug can be via inhalation, injection, smoking, and different medium. When we talk about the drug, with the help of pharmacology, we can easily define the drug. A drug is a chemical substance typically of known structure which when administered to a living organism produces a biological effect. A pharmaceutical drug, also called a medication or medicine, in a chemical substance is used to treat, cure, prevent or diagnose a disease to promote well-being. Traditionally, drugs were obtained through the extraction from the medicinal plant, but more recently also by the organic synthesis. Pharmaceutical drug may be used for the limit duration or on a regular basis on the chronic disorders. Or in other term, we can say that a chemical substances of known structure other than a nutrient or an essential dietary ingredient which when administered to a living organism produces a biological effect or biological response. Now I would like to discuss about the discovery phase. It means identification of a new chemical entity as a potential therapeutic agent, and development phase is known as compound is tested for the safety and efficacy for one or more clinical identification and suitable formulations and dosage forms. Now, I would like to discuss about the an important changes about the drug. The term drug discovery is classical and conventional. It should be replaced with the term drug invention. In the past, drugs were discovered as natural product and used such as. Now, drugs are clumped and brought into the being by the pharmacologist in the air conditioned labs. The term invention emphasizes this process. I would like to discuss about the new drug definitions according to the CDSCO. According to the rule 122E, first one is are new substances of chemical, biological or biotechnological origin in the bulk or prepared dosage form used for the prevention, diagnosis or treatment of the disease in man or animal, which except during local clinical trials has not been used in the country to any significant extent, and which except during local clinical trials has not been recognized in the country as effective and safe for the proposed claim. And second one is the drug already approved by the licensing authority which is not now proposed to be marketed with modified or new identification dosage form, including SR dosage form, and SR means sustained release dosage form, and route of administrations. A fixed dose combination of two or more drugs individually approved earlier and now proposed to be combined for the first time in a fixed ratio, or if the ratio of ingredient is an already marketed combination is proposed to be changed with certain claims with indication dosage form, including sustained release dosage form and route of the administrations. I would like to start with very interesting topic, that is stages the new drug synthesis. Here the different step of drug discovery. First one is drug discovery, second one is preclinical development, and third one is clinical development. In the drug synthesis, first step is drug discovery. About the drug discovery, in this way we can say that candidates molecules are chosen on the basis of their pharmacological properties, and preclinical development, non-human studies like animals, and for example toxicity testing, pharmacokinetic analysis and formulation are performed. And third one is clinical development. In the clinical development, the selected compound is tested for efficacy, side effects, and potential dangerous in the volunteers and patients. With the help of this flowchart, we can easily identify the drug discovery. First one is drug discovery. It means target selection, lead finding, lead optimization, and pharmacological profiling. In the preclinical development, in this we can say that we find out the pharmacokinetics, short-term toxicology, formulation, and synthesis scale-up. Now I would like to discuss about the clinical development. It takes place into the three phases. First one is phase 1, and second one is phase 2, and third one is phase 3. In phase 1 we can say that pharmacokinetics and side effect of the healthy volunteers. In phase 2 we find out the small scale trials in the patient for identification of the efficacy and dosage form and long-term toxicological studies. And phase third, that is very important. In this way we can say that large scale controlled clinical trials. And next one is regulatory approval. In the regulatory approval, we find out the submission of the full date and review by the regulatory agencies. And phase 4, that is also very important phase. In this phase, we can say that post-marketing surveillances. Now, I would like to discuss about the time taking of the different steps. In drug discovery, it takes mainly 2 to 5 year, and preclinical development it takes 1.5 year. And when we talk about the clinical development, then we can say that it takes minimum 5 to 7 years, and regulatory approvals it takes minimum 1 to 2 years. Here the different projects are also found. In drug discovery, minimum 100 projects, and preclinical development 20 compounds. And when we talk about the clinical development, phase 1 10, phase 2 5, and phase 3 2, and regulatory approval 1.2, and phase 4, that is post marketing phase, that is 1. Now, I would like to discuss about the drug discovery. Changes start with the discovery. Which kind of changes start in the drug discovery? I would like to discuss over here. In drug discovery, usually time duration that is 2 to 5 years. Usually number of project that is 100. I have already mentioned in the previous slide. It consists of following components. First one is target selection and validation, and second one is lead finding or lead generation, and third one is lead optimization, and last one is pharmacological profiling. Now I would like to discuss about the reverse pharmacology. What do you mean by reverse pharmacology? First of all, I would like to discuss about the targeted based drug delivery system, that is also known as TDD. And according to the TDD, we can say that a hypothesis is the first made that modulation of activity of a specific protein target will have beneficial for the therapeutic effects. And the reverse pharmacology approach takes about 2 years to obtain a new drug candidates. It is much faster and more efficient than. Now, here a comparison of classical approach and reverse pharmacology about genomics and pharmacology. First of all, I would like to discuss about the clinical approach of pharmacology. In pharmacology, clinical approach, we can say that functionally activity are performed with ligand purification. Finally, we found the ligand. After that, functional studies, we perform the biological role and pathophysiology. And targeted disease in genomics, we can say that compound screening and medicinal chemistry drug candidate are molecule target molecular mechanism genomics research. In reverse pharmacology, we can say that in genomics, bioinformation and molecular genetics are full-length cloning and receptor ligand finishing. Finally, we find the ligand receptor ligand first compound screening, that is HTS lead compound, that is functional studies. After the functional studies, we find the pharmacological response like functional activity, biological role, and pathophysiology. After that, target disease, the second compound screening. After that, medicinal chemistry, we find the drug candidate. Now, I would like to discuss about the properties of ideal drug target. First of all, I would like to discuss about the target. What is target? Target is a disease modifying and or has a proven function in the pathophysiology of a disease, and modulation of a target is less important under physiological conditions or in other diseases. If the drug ability is not obvious, for example, as a kinases, a 3D structure of a target protein or a close homologue should be available for a drug availability or drug ability assessment, and target has favorable drug or assay availability, enabling high through output screening. In this, we can say that target expression is not uniformly distributed throughout the body, and target disease specific biomarker exists to the monitor therapeutic efficacy. Now, I would like to discuss about the various targets of drug action. The majority of the drug targets are G protein couple receptor, nuclear receptor, ion channel, and enzymes. First of all, I would like to discuss about the G protein couple receptors. In G protein couple receptors, also called as the 7 transmembrane receptor or heptahelical receptor, protein located in the cell membrane that binds extracellular substances and transmits single form these substances to an intracellular molecules are called as the G protein couple receptor. G protein couple receptor medicated our sense of vision, smell, taste, and pain. In this, we can say that they are also involved in the cell recognition and communication process, and hence have emerged as a prominent of the drug targets. And second one is nuclear receptor, and third one is ion channel, and last one is enzymes. In this way, we can say that currently we are exploiting only 120 distinct drug targets. The drug target identifications, the gene expression profiling, that is genomics, and focused proteomics and metabolic pathways analysis we find in the molecular biology, and phenotype analysis, and last one is genetic association. For the drug target, we should um, mention always 3 points. First one is access to the model and technologies, and second one is disease understanding, and last one is understandings of the basic molecular mechanism of the Now I would like to discuss about the target identification strategies. In target identification strategies, we follow the different strategies. First one is inverse docking and second one is bioinformatics. In inverse docking, in this way we can say that it is a computational docking program in which a specific small molecule of interest is tested against a library of receptor structures. And second one is bioinformatics. In this way, we can say that it derives knowledge from computational analysis of biological data. It includes information stored in the genetic code, that is patients, statistics, and scientific literatures. In the earlier times, the complex biological responses of chemical were first seen, and then the drug targeted were explored for those chemicals. Now, target identification has become the first step of the drug discovery. Here, the limitations: the drug which do not act through the receptors, that is antacid, osmotic, diuretics, and alkylating agent, and activated charcoal cannot be recognized. Now I would like to discuss about the target validation. Target validation, in this way we can say that to identify the most useful of target among the various identified target, that is target validation is done. Identified the target are analyzed and compared. For the first one is ability to the regulate biological and chemical process and molecular or molecules in the body, and second one is association with a specific disease. It is done using genetic. Now I would like to discuss about the lead generations approaches of new drug molecules. Here the different approaches. First one is newer techniques. Here the different techniques are involved. First one is molecular modeling and second one is or combinational chemistry, and third one is biotechnology, and fourth one is genetic medicine, and last one is immunopharmacology. Biotechnology, genetic medicines, and immunopharmacology is also known as the biologics. First of all, I would like to discuss about the molecular modeling. In molecular modeling, rational drug designing are performed, mainly aided by the three-dimensional computer graphics, and allow design of structure based on the new and known molecules. And highly selective targeted compounds are created by the enhancing desired properties of the known molecules. Second one is combinational chemistry. In this way we can say that it is systematic and repetitive covalent connection of a set of different building blocks of varying structure to each other to yield a large array of diverse molecular entities. In this process is faster and more efficient and cheaper. And second advantage is millions of the compounds can be synthesized like chemical compounds. Here the limitations of combinatorial chemistry. In combinatorial chemistry, building and maintaining huge compound libraries is a costly business. Even the largest compound collection represents only the fraction of the number of the drug-like molecules that exist in a theory, estimated to about the 10 to the power 6. Next one is the biotechnology. In biotechnology, therapeutic agents are produced by the biotechnology rather than conventional synthetic chemistry are called as the biopharmaceutics. It involves the use of the combinant DNA technology and genetic engineering. First one is to clone and express the human genes, and second one is to produce large amount of the hormones like insulin. Now I would like to discuss about the genetic medicines. In genetic medicine, transfer of genetic materials. First one is a single gene which is typical or for gene therapy. Fragments of coding sequence as a RNA modifications therapy, that is MC being antisense oligonucleotide strategies. And third one is entire genomes as in the case of SSC and ESC therapy. And vectors are viruses and liposomes plasmid complex. Diseases addressed like hereditary diseases like SCID and hemophilia etc. Last technique is immunopharmacology. In immunopharmacology, it deals with the finding the biological immune modifiers or immunomodulating agents that cause selective upregulations or downregulation of specific immune responses. For example, rituximab, that is anti-CD20 monoclonal antibody for RA, and second one is adalimumab, that is anti-TNF, that is alpha inhibitor antibodies of RA. Okay, now I would like to discuss about the next technique, that is older technique. In older technique, different approaches are mentioned. First of all, I would like to discuss about the older techniques. In this way, we can say that animal model as human disease and natural product like plants, animals, and microorganisms. When we discuss about the approaches, then we can say that first approach is random screening approach, and second one is ethnobiological approaches. In older technique, we can say that traditional medicines and modification of structure of known drug to develop me too derivative medicines and follow-up drug. Now I would like to discuss about the sources of the plant. Here the different sources of the plant like Atropa belladonna, Rauwolfia serpentina, Digitalis latina, that is digitoxin, Pilocarpus microphyllus, and bark of the yellow trees. Here, these are the examples of the planted sources. Now, I would like to discuss about the microorganism sources. For penicillin, Streptomyces notatum, and for chloramphenicol, Streptomyces menjuli. For neomycin, we can see over here Streptomyces gradius, etc. Now, I would like to discuss about the screening. In this way, we can say that the usual approach is to clone the target protein, the human form. This is the because of sequence variation among species is associated with the pharmacological difference, and it is essential of to optimize for activity in the humans. An assay system is then developed to the measure the functional activity of the target proteins. Now I would like to discuss about the desired characteristics of the assay. First one is should run automatically if possible with an optical readout, for example fluorescence and optical absorbance. Second one is that should be in a miniaturized multiple plate format for reasons of speed and economy. And robotically controlled assay has become the standard starting point for most drug discovery projects, for example high throughput screening. Now I would like to discuss about the virtual screening. In short, we can say that the VS, it is based on the computationally inferred or simulated real screening advantages compared to the laboratory experiment. That is, first one is low cost and second one is investigate compounds that have not been synthesized yet. In virtual screening, can be used reduce the initial number of the compounds before using expensive HTS method, and the number of possible virtual molecules available for VS is much higher than those available for HTS. Now I would like to discuss about the disadvantages of the virtual screening. The disadvantages of the virtual screening is that it cannot be substitute the real screening. Here the two types of the approaches used in the virtual screening. First one is the targeted based virtual screening, that is TBVS, or receptor based virtual screening. And second one is ligand based virtual screening, that is LBVS, or similarity based virtual screening. Targeted based virtual screening, that is in short we can say that TBVS. In this way we can say that exploits the molecule recognition between the ligands and target protein information about the target, and selection of the chemical that has high affinity for the target's active site, and structural information can be determined by the nuclear magnetic resonance, that is NMR, or X-rays diffractions. Now I would like to discuss about the target-based virtual screening. TBVS relies on 3D structure of protein targets on the 3D database of the chemicals, and TBVS target-based virtual screening allows the identification of the structurally novel ligands that may present in the attraction modes similar to the already known ligands, and even new interaction pattern identification with different part of the target's active sites, and this method use virtual filtering of all available ligands in a suitable database. Okay. Now the second is ligand based virtual screening. That one is the second. In short we can say that LBVS. In this way we can say that there is no structural information about the target. The screening focused on physical and chemical based searches among the ligands, and through the pharmacophore pattern matching, and on the similarity searching using descriptors that might be or that may be 1D, 2D, or 3D. In LBVS, the complete structure of ligand can be considered in a quantitative structure activity relationship. In short, we can say that QSAR methods. QSAR methods can make the accurate prediction of the relative conformation and alignment of the ligands. LBVS are more limited than TBVS since it biased by the properties of the already known ligands for a given target. In high throughput screening, in short we can say that HTS, that is the real screening. In this way we can say that it is a process of testing a large number of diverse chemical structures against the disease target to identify HITS. In this way we can say that compared to the traditional screening method, HTS is characterized by the simplicity, rapidness, and high information harvest based on the ligand target interaction principle. High throughput screening (STC) is easily various technology used for the STCR. First one is fluorescence, next second one is NMR, that is nuclear magnetic resonance, and third one is affinity chromatography, fourth one is surface plasmon resonance, and fifth one is DNA microarray. STS can analyze around 10,000 to 1 lakh samples per day. Now I would like to discuss about the end result of screen, HIT. In short, we can say that the HIT. In HIT, the molecule with confirmed concentration dependent activity in a screen and known chemical structure. Progressible HIT, the representative of a compound series with active via acceptable mechanism of action and some limited structure activity relationship. Lead optimization. In lead optimization, the aim of this stage is: first one is the increase of potency of the compound on its target, second one is increase its selectivity, third one is increase its metabolic stability. Usually one of the project out of five passes through this stage, and Here the various steps. First one is identification of pharmacophore, that is relevant groups on the molecule that interact with the receptors and are responsible for the biological activity. Second one is functional group modification. In functional group modification, modification of the group may enable or disable certain biological effects. And third one is the structure activity relationship. In a structure activity relationship, we can say that some of these features are important for the activity and others are not. First one is NH2 and sulfonyl, that is R, should be para, and second one is NH2 should be unsubstituted, and third one is benzene ring should not be replaced by the other ring systems. Fourth one is the structure modification. In structure modification, we can say that to increase the potency of the therapeutic index, for example, homologation, a homogeneous series is a group of compounds that differ by the constant unit, usually CS2, and B is the chain branching, and C is the ring chain transformation effect. First one is lipophilicity, and second effect is interaction with the enzymes or receptors. It could increase or decrease drug potency and therapeutic index. And D1 is bioisosteres or bioisosteres. Okay, now I would like to discuss about the preclinical development. In preclinical, usually time duration is 1.5 year. Usually number of compounds, that is 20, and the aim of the preclinical is testing are pharmacokinetics. Second one is short-term toxicology, and third one is formulation, and fourth one is synthesis scale up. The work falls in the four categories. First one is safety pharmacology. In safety pharmacology, in this way we can say that pharmacological testing of check that drug does not produce any hazardous side effect. And second one is preliminary toxicological testing to be eliminated genotoxicity and determine the maximum non-toxic dose of a drug, usually when given daily for 20 days and tested into the two species. And third one is animal studies. In animal studies, in this way we can say that pharmacokinetic testing, that is the studies on absorption, metabolism, distribution and elimination in the laboratory. Animals like mice, chicken, monkeys and guinea pigs. And fourth one is chemical and pharmaceutical development. First one is feasibility of large scale synthesis and purification. Second one is stability of the compound under various conditions, and C1 is to develop a formulation suitable for the drug. Animals studies components. In this way we can say that toxicological study, this is very important studies. Extended program in animal studies, these could be acute, subacute for chronic toxicities studies. First one is acute, that takes place into 24 to 48 hours. Subacute, that takes few weeks, and chronic studies takes place into 4 months. Limitation of the preclinical studies is first one is toxicities testing in time consuming and expensive, that is 2 to 6 years may be required to collect the analyzed data on toxicity for testing in the humans, and large number of animals may needed to obtain valid preclinical data. It raises ethical issues. And I would like to discuss about the alternatives to the animals. First one is microorganism, second one is cell component, next one is cell culture, next one is tissue culture and tissues slice and isolated perfused organs and computer modeling. In computer modeling, two, two subcategories are first one is in silico ADMET and physiologically based PK simulations. For listening very carefully and calmly.